Hello, Trailblazer fans, Blazers Edge readers. Welcome to another edition of the Blazers Edge videocast. I'm Sam Tung, along with Dave Deckard, here for our weekly recap as we're talking a little bit of playoffs today, as well as the week upcoming for the Trailblazers. They've got a couple games this week, so want to cover those. A lot of ground to cover, Dave. But first, we just recently talked with the folks at SB Nation and got some numbers back on these video casts that were extremely positive. So from Dave and I, huge thank you to everyone that's been supportive of the video cast, been following us throughout the season. We've had a great time. And we hope that you continue to watch these not only through the playoffs but throughout the rest of the summer, Dave. And, you know, obviously a huge thank you to all the readers and viewers now here on BlazersEdge.com that have made this possible.
Oh, absolutely. We appreciate each and every one of you. We've just gotten off the ground here, really. We're just finding our legs, but already you're with us, and we sure appreciate you doing so, and we love the chance to be with you. You know, we also got a question underneath the last video cast. It's absolutely legitimate, asking why we're doing this in video format, and there are a couple simple answers to that. One is, of course, we're among a generation now for whom video is very important, so we want to make sure that we communicate in that way. But even more, what you're seeing is just a beginning. Someone mentioned pulling in other people to the Google chat. We're going to be doing that eventually. You'll begin to see more graphics. You'll begin to see us branch out more. In this first year, really, we're just getting our legs under us. Sam and I are figuring out how to do this, getting our rapport going together. I hope we've done a good job of that for you. But this is not the end or the pinnacle. This is just a beginning, and you will see this format go in a lot of different places, which we hope that you will love. And third and finally, just from a personal standpoint, Sam and I can knock out one of these video questions in like 10 minutes. I cannot even begin to address any kind of mailbag question in 10 minutes in written form. It takes me that long just to format it on the blog. So this is great for me in terms of some questions just lend themselves to a nice answer, nice little video 10-minute presentation, as opposed to a 10-paragraph written answer. And it allows me to be more productive and to address those questions in the best format possible for them. So again, thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoy this format and look for great things in the future. Now, what are we doing today, Sam?
I mean, talking a little bit about the Trailblazers being back in the playoffs, Dave. They're back. They are back after a couple-year hiatus. The Trailblazers have A, made the playoffs, B, hit that 50-win mark, and Dave, it's something that we've been very critical of the team over the last really couple of months post All-Star break. Here on the video cast, you can see that kind of critical eye from a lot of the readers and commenters on these stories. However, as a fan, and before we get into more of the specifics, still a big step forward for the Trailblazers to be able to make it back into the playoffs after making a couple of offseason acquisitions. Obviously there was a little bit of offseason drama surrounding their star players. So, wanted your thoughts on the team finally getting back into the postseason.
Oh, absolutely. When you look at the long view overall, this has absolutely been an amazing, fantastic season for the team, and nothing should take that away. I mean, there are a lot of asterisks to be put at the end of that, asking how many teams are going to win 50 in the West, whether the playoff seeding is going to be significant, whether they're going to get out of the first round. But you have to take a moment to just say, well done. I mean, that run at the beginning of the season, after they went on it, we knew the schedule would be tougher. We knew health and fatigue would probably become an issue. We knew teams would be better prepared, and we knew, frankly, they weren't going to keep up that level of winning throughout the season. And what did we say? We said, look, you've given yourself a chance to where if you just don't blow it, if you play reasonably well, you should be able to use this momentum to get you where you want to go into the postseason. And they did it. And we should all throw up our hands and say, woo, and just give them a big round of applause, because this didn't have to happen. At the beginning of the year, we thought they would be fighting for a low playoff seed. They got a little bit higher than low, and they sealed it up a week before the season ended. Both of those are good accomplishments. Well done. Nothing should take that away.
couple games that the Blazers played this week, Dave. I know that you've written some recaps on these, but I think it's worth revisiting because there's, kind of some season-long themes that were incorporated in these two games, excuse me. But additionally, there are a couple issues that the team certainly needs to solve if now they're in the playoffs. Now they have to start to think, how can we get past the first round? And the first, I think the big one right now that most people are talking about is that fourth quarter against Phoenix. And the team, played okay for 3 quarters, the Blazers did at home, but then really kind of a lackluster fourth quarter where the Suns were able to run away with that one. And it seemed like, Dave, something that we've seen all season is when the Blazers play a team that has a quality backcourt, especially like Phoenix, and Phoenix is probably the best example because their backcourt might even be the best in the NBA right now. When the team plays against a solid backcourt, it's just really difficult for the Blazers to win those games.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Suns were fast. The Suns had a great game plan, getting the outlet pass out early and streaking down the floor, setting up their offense before Portland's defense, such as it is, could even get set, taking advantage of Portland's propensity to offensive rebound, so their bigs were staying back and couldn't get back in transition. Phoenix just has Portland's number and knew exactly what to do. And really, as you say, it was kind of a microcosm of the season. It was a big, huge game in which the Blazers came out, played well enough, but the other team took it from them, and the Blazers weren't able to offer a lot of resistance. And that has to be a little bit disturbing. It was, of course, balanced by the fact that they beat New Orleans a couple nights later, but New Orleans isn't the same level of opponent and was severely injured. The Blazers won that game, but when the chips were down, when the money was on the line, they came out really flat against Phoenix. And you wonder, how are their emotions going to carry in the playoffs, especially past game 1? Obviously, they're going to be pumped up for that first game, but if they get their lunch handed to them in game 1, what's going to happen in game 2 and game 4? Are they going to be able to sustain their intensity and their energy throughout a 7-game series? How are they going to deal with mismatches? When the Blazers get countered, they have no answer. They play like they play, and if it works, it's great. If it doesn't work, they have to throw up their hands. That's not going to fly in the playoffs. And obviously, Houston, if it's the Rockets, creates several matchup problems that will present the same level of difficulty, if not the exact same style, as the Suns do. How are the Blazers going to deal with that? You have to worry seeing them coming out in a key game late in the season and just bombing like that.
Before they get to the playoffs, though, a couple games for the Trailblazers, actually 4 before the end of this season, and those include Sacramento and Utah, both winnable games, but Dave, also against the Clippers and Golden State. Golden State likely fighting for one of those final playoff spots and seeding in that 6, 7, 8 range. And then additionally the Clippers, who I don't think they can get into the top couple spots, and it's actually the last game of the season, so it'll be kind of interesting to see how the Trailblazers and the Clippers look for that last regular season game. I mean, that whole thing might be locked up and ready to go for the playoffs, and both teams might just be resting their star players. But still a couple of games left, Dave, for this team to fight in this kind of playoff seeding towards the end of the season. Looks like the 5 seed seems like where the Trailblazers are going to be slotted, but as we saw, a couple weeks ago when we were wondering if the Blazers were going to drop entirely out of the playoffs, you still, you're looking forward to the playoffs, but, there's still a couple of games this season that you just need to make sure that you stay where you are, because I don't think the Blazers right now want to play the Clippers, Oklahoma City, or San Antonio. I don't think anyone wants to play San Antonio in the East or in the West. But it seems like these last couple of games are very important for the team.
Well, I'd really take any of those opponents over the Rockets personally, so it's not going to break my heart if they fall to 6 and get a different matchup. That said, the game I kind of like right now is the Sacramento game, simply because they have a talented center in DeMarcus Cousins who has given the Blazers fits all season long. Also, the Clippers with DeAndre Jordan, a little bit. Now, both of those are very different style players than Dwight Howard is. However, if you've got a new wrinkle, if you've got a way to deal with the opposing five, now would be the time to practice. Now would be the time to show it a little bit. Obviously, you don't reveal everything before your playoff matchup, but it would be nice and reassuring to see the Blazers be able to do something against a talented big man, because they've come up with a goose egg all season long, and you see DeMarcus Cousins scoring 40 on them, and you go, oh man, this is just a major headache every time the opponent has a skilled player at the center position. So I'm interested to see how they will deal with those two games in particular. I'm more interested to see the Blazers' style, the Blazers' energy, the Blazers' commitment, and the Blazers' execution than I am really invested in the wins and losses. I don't want to see them come out flat. I don't want to see them give up games. I don't want to see them surrender to mismatches or styles that they don't like to play against, because all of that would bode ill for the playoffs. I want to see a nice, confident run over these last four, and I think if they do that, no matter where they end up in the seedings, they will have the best chance possible to make some noise in that first round.
And you talk about the bigs, Dave, guys like DeMarcus Cousins or DeAndre Jordan, really these athletic bigs. But as we both chatted about a little bit about Phoenix, the Blazers really do struggle with athletic guards. And these teams that are coming up, I mean, they may not be the best, but Trey Burke is an extremely athletic guard. Isaiah Thomas is an extremely athletic guard. And, of course, that other backcourt, if it isn't Phoenix, it's probably Golden State that has the best backcourt in the league with Thompson and Curry. So you have to start thinking that not only is this a good opportunity for the Blazers to try to work in a couple ideas as to how they're going to combat the front court, it seems like the guard play and kind of containing these more athletic guys, if they get the Clippers, it's going to be Chris Paul that they have to contain. If they get Houston, it's going to be, their plethora of guards that they're going to have to contain. If it's San Antonio, it's and same with Oklahoma City. So really any of these teams that they're likely going to play, they're going to have to deal with athletic guards. So it seems like this might be a good opportunity to do that as well.
Well, here's the great hope. I don't think the Blazers are ever going to solve the quick guard problem, because their players are big, their players are long. We're just not equipped to deal with speed, except perhaps with Damian Lillard, and we've all seen his defense, so that's not going to happen this year anyway. However, if it is Houston, which seems most likely, James Harden is big, he's skilled, but he's not the quickest guy out there. Can Wesley Matthews guard him alone? I do not believe so. However, you might have more success sending help against Harden or developing a scheme against him than you would against, for instance, Golden State's guards. I mean, I don't see any way to stop Steph Curry. Period. It's just not going to happen for Portland. Tony Parker, give or take, it depends on the night. Russell Westbrook will be another real headache, presuming he's healthy, which, is always, I don't even know if he's back. I haven't watched the Thunder. This shows you how long it's been since I've watched Oklahoma City. I just assume they're going to do what they're going to do. But, I don't know about his quality or style of play at the moment. But that would be a major headache, too. But Harden, I think, can be solved with what the Blazers have. They won't stop him, but they will be able to contain him a little bit, I think, if they work at it. So cross your fingers. That might be the one thing about the Houston matchup that they might have a ghost of a chance of doing. The problem with the Blazers defense, of course, is they're always able to do one thing well. As soon as you ask them to do two, they're lost. So they're probably going to have to pick Harden or Howard. It would be nice if Dwight were injured, out of sorts, unmotivated, or whatever. If the Blazers can just concentrate on Harden, I think they might have a chance.
Quick update on Westbrook. I was just reading a piece that said that the team is trying to rest him on back-to-backs, one of the two games. So to your point, you might not know whether he's playing or not. And I think Oklahoma City is just trying to make sure that he is healthy for the playoffs. Obviously, Patrick Beverley has had some injury struggles over the last couple of weeks. But, I mean, to your point, it's going to be it's going to be an interesting ride here over the next couple of games. It does seem like the schedule does set them up for what they'll likely be facing in the playoffs too, which has to be a good sign for the team, regardless of wins and losses. And that's going to do it here for our weekly recap here on the videocast. We'll be back in a couple of days so we can answer one of your emails. So continue to send those in. blazersub@gmail.com. We love getting those emails, especially now that we're getting closer to playoff time. This is really where the topics get much more heated and interesting. So continue to send those in, blazersub@gmail.com. And that's going to do it here for us on the videocast. For Dave Deckard, I'm Sam Tung. Thanks again so much for joining us here on blazersedge.com. We'll see you all soon.